constituted expressly to be an independent institution which was not dependent on government grants or otherwise subject to government control, as opposed to the full government control support enjoyed by AMU. My lord, this is a letter written by Ali brothers to Raja of Mahmudabad. My lord, that letter is on record. I'm not reading it, but this is, my lord, I'm paraphrasing. I have paraphrased it. In fact,
Mr. Solicitor, there may be a problem in this line of argument. We assume for a moment that there were two factions, right? You had the loyalist faction, which was of the view that you must dovetail your efforts in line with the then imperial government's efforts. There was then the other faction, which was probably encouraged by Gandhiji as well, namely those who were supporting the Khilafat movement and non-cooperation. According to you, they broke away and they formed Jamia. Assuming that is so, the fact that the loyalist faction was more, in line with the British government then, does not deprive it of its minority character. The fact that they were in alignment with the views of the then imperial power does not make it any the less an institution founded by a minority. Founded by a minority does not mean that you have to be in opposition to the then government.
no.
Today, you may have a minority institution which is perfectly, on the side of the government on many important issues. That does not change its minority character.
I'm not on that. My lord, kindly allow me to say.
Therefore, this really to say that, there were two factions and one was, pro-loyalist, one was loyalist, one was with the British government, the other one was, with the nationalist movement. This will not have a bearing on whether it was it ceased to be a minority institution.
Your lordships may, my lord, I would earnestly request to defer that conclusion for the time being. My lord, there is a reason why I am showing that.
No, we are not drawing a conclusion. We are just saying that this hypothesis is equally consistent with the fact that a minority institution may politically be aligned or may not be aligned with the government.
Not on that. I'm not on, my lord, because they were politically aligned to British, they were not minority. Okay. That's not my case. My lord, I am building up a case based upon the finding of fact recorded in Aziz Basha, that because of this you have surrendered your right. This is, my lord, they may find, my lord, these facts inconvenient, but they are on record. Your lordships may, at the end of my respectful submissions, may choose, my lord, to rely upon it, partly rely upon it, or completely ignore it.
Your argument is that there was therefore a surrender of the minority state.
Yes, my lord, that's the finding. The finding is not that because you are a university, you can never be a minority institution the way they apprehend. That's not the finding. I am just trying to show how historically you surrendered what others did not. Others also had this option of surrendering their rights as a denominational institution and go before the government of the then crown and let that act be passed. But they continued their existence, dehorsed the government. No Article 30 was not in existence. You could have surrendered, you could have stuck to your ground. Vishwa Bharati stuck to its ground.
So they continued to award degrees which were not recognized by the government.
Yes, and subsequently, my lord, when the India became free, when UGC Act came, my lord, all these institutions which continued their denominational character or their independent character, they were recognized as either universities or deemed to be universities. I'll show the scheme of the Act. Section 3 says that if you have an institution, then in consultation with UGC, central government declare you to be deemed to be university. So they are now declared to be deemed to be university. But that option, this particular institution did not exercise, and therefore Aziz Basha says you have surrendered. That is the ratio of Aziz Basha. So therefore, I'm respectfully, but
we got your point.
It won't take more time, Malone.
Yes.
My intention is not that because they sided with British, don't trust them. That's not the idea. They had every right, my lord, to take their own political stand, and they took the political stand. Maybe that was a beneficial stand for the community, for the student, for the college. I do not know. I don't sit in judgment over them. Now, please see, my lord, 13. My lord, 13, your lordships can, my lord, skip. Now, kindly come to page 26, bottom. Now, my lord, post-AMU developments.
Actually, 13, just read 13, Gandhiji's statement
Yes.
that supports your submission. Just
Yes.
read that statement by Gandhiji.
In fact, new institutions such as Jamia and Kashi Vidyapit were established specifically to provide education on nationalist lines, in contrast to AMU's loyalist approach. In a speech, Gandhi ji, my lord, I'm extremely sorry, my lord, my apologies. No, never do this. Mistake again. Himself noted the government-controlled character of the university as follows. I have myself appealed to thousands of parents, at which hardly a parent has objected to the proposition of leaving government-controlled schools. I therefore take leave to think the parents of Aligarh boys are not less convinced than the others of the necessity of withdrawing their children from the schools and controlled by the government that has participated in betraying the Muslims in India and has wantonly humiliated the nation through its barbarous treatment of Punjab. Shall we not free Jallianwala? This is near, historically, Jallianwala Bagh episode is being referred to by Mahatma Gandhi ji. That is 1919, my lord, Jallianwala Bagh. Shall we not free them, boys, from the curse of slavery which has made us crawl on our bellies? Surely they would not need government university degrees. Our existing religious and charitable Hindu and Muslim funds can support our education without even a week of self-denial.
After Gandhiji's quotation, there is a reference to contemporary material. And this is what we are objecting to. Just see after that, it says, therefore, even contemporary material clearly suggests. Lord, this is very wayward, my lord.
When I would read Bhasha, I will read the
No,
act.
but we read Bhasha, we will read Bhasha.
It's not Bhasha,
Bhasha
it's
says
Bhasha.
surrender only in respect of property, nothing else.
Lord,
The word surrender, if used, my lord, is only in respect of property, nothing else.
Lord, if
No,
I would
I
have done this,
understand.
he would have abused me like a pedestrian, my lord, but I'll not do it.
Come along now, let's.
No, I'm sorry. It's a legitimate, my lord, concern that we play.
Oh, let-
You interrupted me at a very right time. That I must give you. At a very right.
Royalist, they rely upon Shri Khan, my lord, Sayyid Ahmad Khan, who is the person who started this colleges from primary school to AMU. His book, The Loyal Muslim, was written, and the whole purpose of this AMU, based on that, was to create a body of educated Muslims who are loyal subjects. That is his own book. So other books may be discarded, but the founder on whom they rely has written The Loyal Muslim.
Lord, this is
And he
still,
also wrote, Lord, a book about 1857 rebellion, absolving, Lord, that Muslims were not primarily responsible. Only few people who were divergent, Lord, they were participants. So I don't know why you should object.
no, my lord, this is all
That's a
secondary.
historic-
Basically, my lord, the
all
way in
secondary
which Bhasha
material.
was read, the
And
way in which act was read.
even the term
Lord,
nationalist.
All right,
First
now
of
can
all,
you so just,
Nationalist
we are in the
has a
midst
meaning,
of an
my lord,
argument.
in
That's all right.
literature.
We'll hear you in rejoinder. Now, Mr. Sir,
Another-
conclude that part
even
of the.
Bhasha, while reading Bhasha, look at this, what he says, the learned judges do not become he after retirement. But they were ridiculed, my lord. I want to show that they were aware of this history, which is recorded in Bhasha. You can't pick up some paragraphs here and there and start, my lord, ridiculing the judgment. I'm leaving at that, ridiculing the judgment.
Let's have a look at
Yes.
what you have said.
Lord, I'll, if he has any objection, Lord, I'll welcome that objection. Please see, is there anything objectionable to
Para 14, let's see at least.
para
We'll have to go-
17, my lord, para 17. Well, your lordship may skip 14 and 15. Please come to 17. After it is submitted that post-establishment of the AMU, the education system in the country developed in the following manner. Lord, I have given how the statutory regime changed. How someone can object to this being shown to the court? Lord, 20, Aligarh Muslim University Act is passed. Conference of Vice Chancellors of existing universities to establish an inter-university board was held in Shimla. Then 25, inter-university board was established with the following objectives: Then, my lord, 1935 Government of India Act included provisions related to regulation of higher education. It divided legislative powers between central government and provincial governments in matters related to higher education. Both the central and provincial legislature had the authority to make laws, etc., etc., my lord. Ultimately, my lord, I have said, my lord, at the end, 1952, Government of India set up an interim University Grant Commission, and, my lord, Act is passed in 1956. What is objectionable in this? This is, my lord, a history known to each one of us. This is the way in which regime post-independence progress.
Para 18, let's see how you
My
follow.
lord, before that, my lord, now please see, as your lordships, my lord, we put a very pertinent query. My lord, kindly come to volume 2B, page 62. How, my lord, your lordships, my lord, very pertinently put that how can you show that there was a conscious decision to surrender? My lord, this is also filed long back, including this table with relevant paginations from the material. I am just, my lord, taking care of a possible interruption.
Actually, volume 2B, page 62 is your written submission, or what is it?
Yes, my lord, it's my written submissions, my lord. The title is Basha and the Character of Aligarh Muslim University. First, 16/12/1870, a private committee was set up by the name of Committee for Better Diffusion and Advancement of Learning amongst the Mohammedans of India. Then, my lord, 15th April 1872. This I have taken from a letter of private secretary to the Viceroy. My lord, please see the source, which is on record since beginning. The committee submitted its report. The report suggested and outlined the structure of a Mohammedan Oriental College. The idea behind the same was to bring the Muslims on par with current developments in the world. It emerges that one of the principal aims of the committee was the promotion of Western arts and sciences and not just religious study. Then 1873, your lordships can skip that, but I'll read for completeness. A scheme was proposed for the Mohammedan Oriental College. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan proposed that the word college in the name of MAO College be substituted with university. When the proposal is sent to the government, it replied that if a Mohammedan university is sought to be established, then no grants in aid would be receivable from the government. We cannot after Constitution, British government could, and they did. Now, my lord, 24th of May, 87. Opening ceremony of MAO College is held in Aligarh. It may be noted that as per the some records, my lord, your lordships can skip the first part. Further, land of 74 acres on which the entire MAO College was set up was given by Lieutenant Governor Sir John Strachey in the cantonment area of Aligarh. The relevant portion of the said book is as under. This fact is not in dispute, that 74 acres land is given by the British. This shows that national character of MAO College itself, and also shows how persons from all walks of life contributed to the proposed institution. This further shows that MAO College itself was wholly established on government land and not land acquired by minority community. This is not the only argument, my lord, your lordship. This is one of the facts I have stated. Then, a letter from the secretary of MAO College notes that MAO College is an institution dependent on government funds. Then 8/1/1877, the foundation of MAO College was laid by Sir Syed on the land of the British government in Aligarh cantonment. Then, my lord, your lordships can come to 26/11/1897. I'll skip, my lord, what is not relevant, my lord. I have understood, my lord, what is being, my lord, conveyed. 26/11/1897, address by Sir Mahmud on Lord Elgin, Viceroy and Governor General of India. In his address, Sir Syed spoke of his achievements that the AMU College had made in the field of education, but lamented that the ultimate goal before it, the attainment of university for the Mohammedans of India, similar to the great English University of Oxford and Cambridge. This clearly shows that the actual aim was an open, secular, scientific institution for public good and not merely a minority institution. The minority element was a small portion of larger idea of Sir Syed. Several prominent individuals associated with AMU College propounded various different ideas for the university. I'm not reading because they were not accepted.
But you know, Mr. Solicitor, there again, your note which you have put there, that really is fundamentally inconsistent with our principles underlying Article 30. A minority institution may set up a purely secular form of educational institution. You can set up a minority can set up an architect's college. It can set up a
I
medical
bow
college.
down to that. There is no quarrel. I am, my lord,
But where you say the minority element was a small portion of the larger idea of Sir Syed, this may not be a correct constitutional test to apply.
The
We
difficulty
take it that Sir Syed's idea was to set up entirely a secular education institute.
can still be a minority.
It
I am
still
not
can be
on
a
that.
minority institution.
My lord, I am not on that. My lord, the difficulty is we are testing something which happened in 1920 based on Article 30, which was not there at that point of time.
Just one more thing. Just read the statement. Ultimate goal was attainment of university for Mohammedans
Yes, my lord.
of India.
Correct, my lord.
So
For
that was
Mohammedans
the
for India. My lord, I have therefore I have said
To
that.
that extent,
But that also does not make, as my lord the Chief Justice says, absent this also doesn't make any difference. Presence this also does not make any difference. This is a part of narration of history I am giving. I am not saying that because it was teaching other subjects or it was intending to teach other subjects, it was not a minority. That's not my argument. And please, my lord, do not evaluate 1920 Act in light of Article 30, which came subsequently. It under Article 13, if there is anything,
No, but the facts as they transpired in 1920 and before that would have a bearing on whether they are entitled to the protection of Article 30.
that's exactly what I'm trying to
So we
show.
are not pitchforking Article 30 in 1920, no. In
No.
1920, they didn't have the benefit of minority status
No, even
because there was no constitution. But the facts as they unveiled in 1920 have a bearing on what is the nature of the institution.
correct. I bow down. No issue, no deal. Your lordships are absolutely right. I respectfully bow down. Your lordships would decide whether AMU had minority status as on 1920 based upon two things: what transpired when the act was passed.
Not whether it had minority status as on 1920, as to whether it acquired a minority status as on 26 January 1950, based on the facts pertaining to its establishment. Because establishment can happen post-constitution.
Correct.
Establishment can happen
My
pre-constitution.
lord, can
So
I
we have to look at the facts antecedent to the establishment and surrounding the establishment.
please, my lord, look at
to
it
deduce
from that
what is the true
angle.
character of the institution.
Please look at it from that angle. I must give the
Right.
true facts. My lord,
Right.
I don't have the luxury of reading some paragraphs from here, some paragraph from there, leaving relevant paragraph. I am giving the true
Right.
facts, historical facts. I am conscious of the fact that if it would not have been the word Mohammedan University, there would not have been any change.
difference.
Presence of that word does not make any change. This is what happened.